What is up, you beautiful, beautiful people? You are very welcome along to Thursday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. I hope that you're all in good spirits today. We have a lot to go through over the next 8 to 10 minutes. We're going to be discussing Darwin Núñez as he jets over for his Al Hilal medical. We'll be discussing the never-ending saga with Alexander ISAK that is surely coming to a positive conclusion soon. We'll talk a bit about centre-back as well, as some of the barriers in our pursuit of MARC have been removed. That and lots more, including some Ballon d'Or contenders in the Red squad, to go through over the next few minutes. But as always, my friends, I want to know your thoughts. So do let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. And of course, I hope you do. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Now, of course, we'll be back here tonight, 8:45. You know the drill at this point. But let's have a little look at the net spendometer, taking into account the money that the Reds are about to receive from Darwin Núñez from Al Hilal. You can see, now this is obviously not scientific net spendometer, but roughly 104 million net spend so far this summer from the club. Of course, there are a few other bits and pieces, rights, fees, things like that in there that we haven't taken account of. But let's just call it in and around £104 million net spend. Obviously, if we sell Harvey Elliott, that figure will come down some more. But if we buy ISAK and a centre-back and another forward, because yes, we are going to be talking about multiple options in attack today. So, let's get cracking with the news. Going to start with Bench Bochak, who said exclusive, Saidi Barama Ndiaye has been training with Liverpool ahead of his move to the club. He even played in a friendly with the club's under-18s. He's regarded as one of the best prospects in Africa, and he's a young, exciting winger. So do keep an eye on that young man. Right. Fabrizio Romano has said, ISAK, let's be clear, remains way more advanced and way more the priority. If Newcastle close the door, an attempt on Barcola could be made before the end of the window. Now, look, for what it's worth, I don't think we're going to move for Bradley Barcola. The few people that I've spoken to are sceptical of those links to the player, but it is reported far and wide, so it's my job to bring it to you. Now, Paul Joyce has, well, excited me without even speaking to me. I know, it's a weird one, but bear with me. Liverpool will look to strengthen in attacking areas. Areas being the key word here from Paul Joyce. Liverpool will look to strengthen in attacking areas with the £46 million deal for Darwin Núñez exit now agreed with Al Hilal. So, of course, he's going to jet over, do his medical. I think it's about 400 grand a week he's getting based off the reports. Liverpool will get another 13 million or so in add-ons, or 30 million euro, which are apparently quite achievable. So all in, Liverpool probably get about 56, 54 million for Darwin, something like that. Now let's move on to ISAK. I know you're all tired at this point. I'm exhausted, but we have to keep talking about it because it's also our job to keep the pressure up in the media, right? To keep the fan communication going and let ISAK know that we're all waiting for him. So this piece from Ben Jacobs said, Liverpool are now exploring the market for a new attacker. ISAK remains the top priority. Liverpool will bid again if Newcastle offer encouragement. Liverpool have a very specific criteria. Any attacker, ISAK or other, must be of sufficient quality to start rather than just sign for squad depth and be available at fair market value. It's why Liverpool will only bid again for ISAK if he is genuinely attainable. Basically just saying to Newcastle, give us the nod here, fellas, and we'll come in and take him off your hands. So, a quote attributed to Craig Houlden of the Daily Mail has said, I've known Alexander ISAK to be unsettled at Newcastle for over a year. Now, like I keep saying, it's easy to make Liverpool the baddies in this situation, and I understand it from a Newcastle fan's perspective. But on the face of this, it looks like ISAK's frustration with Newcastle lies from within. Broken promises, no new contracts, and the recruitment policy that hasn't really seen him, well, backed up with top quality signings. So whatever Newcastle fans think about us coming in to destabilise him, sincerely, it looks like the issue started at least from within. Now, Paul Joyce said reports of interest in Paris Saint-Germain's Bradley Barcola have been downplayed, in part because of the emergence of young Rio Ngamoa, who was 17 at the end of the month and made a strong impression in pre-season. And when we spoke about that interest in Barcola last night, many of you guys and girls out there, same as myself, said, what about Rio? It didn't make any sense, at least with the likes of a Rodrigo, which was still a strange one for me because I didn't really see Liverpool pursuing that. You can see that he could play across the three front positions. Now, maybe you can say Barcola would do that as well, but I just never seen it. It never felt like one that really made sense. but maybe you disagree, and if you do, please do let me know in the comments. Let's move on again to Paul Joyce, who said Liverpool are looking for defensive reinforcements, but believe Inter Milan are ahead of them in the chase for 18-year-old centre-back Giovanni Leone of Parma. Now, we did report this to you guys a couple of weeks ago that, to the best of our understanding from reading up on Italian football, he was on a promise almost to go to Inter. He was managed by Christian Chivu last season, with Chivu having since moved to Inter. The Serie A side would be able to offer him more playing time. And that is fair enough. Like I've said this before, if you brought in Mark Gay, you could make an argument that you could interchange him at any point. Bringing in an 18-year-old from Serie A, if Canade or Virgil was to get injured, would he really be ready? I don't think so. So I hope it's Gay, and more on him in a moment. So bad news for James Maddison, who is expected to miss the majority of the upcoming season after sustaining an anterior cruciate ligament injury. And sincerely, I hate to see these things happen to players. Obviously, we've had it with Virgil and Gomez and a few others. Florian Wirtz before he came to Liverpool in the past as well. Sincerely, from all of us here at Anfield Agenda, wish James Maddison a speedy and full recovery. He is a joy to watch when he's out there on the football pitch doing it well, and I never like to hear of an opposing player getting an injury like that. So I hope he's back as soon as possible. Let's move on to, well, Darwin for a minute, because Paul Joyce has given us all a bit of an insight as to why we signed him. He said Klopp's interest in Darwin Núñez felt very much like an overnight sensation, piqued by his performance for Benfica at Anfield. Klopp fell in love with the forward, but it is not the sort of exhaustive process that Liverpool's recruitment team usually go through. Now, I've said many, many times, I don't think we would have signed Darwin Núñez if we had the same recruitment team that we have now, and this kind of just puts a bit of light on that. It does feel like it was more of a vibes and gut feeling type of thing, and look, sometimes they work. In this case, unfortunately, it didn't. So, Lee Ryder has said Mark Gay is interested in joining Liverpool. Now, more good news on that in a moment. Arne Slot is nominated for the 2025 Men's Team Coach of the Year trophy at the Ballon d'Or. Also, 4 Liverpool players nominated: Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, Florian Wirtz and Alexis McAllister. Best of luck to everyone. Right. So Paul Joyce speaking on Off the Ball, which is an Irish show with, well, the lads from Off the Ball who are absolutely brilliant at what they do. Him speaking about this summer, this is what he's had to say. Liverpool will spend the money. There was talk of 150 million for ISAK, and that was Newcastle's valuation. I don't think Liverpool will go to that. Personally, I don't think they would see that as good value. I don't think anybody would see £150 million for ISAK as good value. Which sounds weird considering I'm about to say, but we probably would go to 130-ish. Still a lot of money, but again, let's wait and see how this one all pans out. So here's the boost on Mark Gay. The Mirror have reported that Newcastle have moved away from their interest in Mark Gay, basically leaving Liverpool to have a free run. They say that they're looking at AC Milan defender Malik Thiaw instead of Mark Gay, and again, maybe they know that Mark Gay is waiting for Liverpool. I've said this all summer, and look, it's no big secret, you guys probably think the same, that it does feel like, much like Ugo Ekitike, Mark Gay is waiting for Liverpool to make their move, and then he'll become a Liverpool player. That's the way I look at this situation, and with those barriers and potential bidding war options for Crystal Palace running out, it does seem as if they're going to have a very tricky decision to make. Will Liverpool come in with a low ball offer? Will it go right down to the end of the window? Or will they move soon? I know what we all want, which is a move soon, but I don't know. Let me know what you think on this one. But the barriers to that move certainly starting to tumble now. David Ornstein said exclusive. United strike an agreement with RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. It'll be a €76.5 million plus €8.5 million add-on. So that basically puts the final nail in the coffin of Benjamin Sesko to Newcastle. That's completely out the window now. He's going to become a United player. This is a bit of a weird one from Quiva O'Neill, who said, the chance of you're just a shit Andy Carroll always seemed to have a profound impact on Darwin Núñez, which, you know, is a little bit weird considering it's, I don't know. If that's getting in your head, it's not a good sign. Let me just say that one. Maybe it spurs him on, I don't know. But either way, it's another insight there to quite how volatile, is that a fair word to use with Darwin? But like I've mentioned, he's about to go and join Al Hilal. So again, this situation, this saga will be over soon. Graham Bailey, speaking about Alexander Isak, said, Isak is more than happy to train away from the Newcastle first team squad as he considers his time at the club over. Also, from Craig Hope, ISAK will not play for Newcastle in the Sela Cup games this weekend, which never seemed to make any sense anyway, because he's supposed to be injured, right? So how would he be able to play? Now, last little piece here from James Pearce, who said, Leeds United have joined the list of clubs to show interest in Ben Doak. Liverpool would want around £20 million. If they do not receive an offer in that range, they're happy to retain him as a squad option. I did mention to everybody that the plan was to sell Ben Doak, and again, well, let's wait and see what happens there. But 20 million, I would snap Liverpool's hand off at that if I was a club interested, because I think he's worth every penny and more. I'd like to keep him around, and I know I've told you all summer he's probably going to go, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with that decision. I just tell you guys what I know, but I'd love him to be kept around as an option for Mo. Right, let's talk again from Fabrizio Romano now. Liverpool remain their focus on ISAK for the final weeks of the summer. New proposal ready to be submitted if Newcastle open doors to the move. ISAK doesn't want to play for Newcastle. He wants to leave and join Liverpool. So that is where we're at. It's been a bit of a longer video today because, like I've mentioned, lots to go through. Hope to see you back here tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Don't forget, the second episode of the Anfield Agenda podcast came out yesterday. You'll find it on the YouTube channel and on Spotify, whichever one works best for your good selves. And I want to say thank you again for all of your support. We've had an incredible summer, but we ain't finished yet. Community Shield coming up this weekend, but tonight, 8:45, we have a lot to discuss. We'll talk then. Bye-bye.